Welcome back to Marketing Connected. I'm your host, Xinying, and you're tuned into In Conversation, a series where we, as the title suggests, are in conversation with the industry's brilliant minds and experts. We have in the studio with us today Matthew Eaton.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
No problem. Thank you.
He is Marketing Interactive's very own Australia editor. So the reason why we have Matt here today is because he's had 20 years,
Probably a bit more.
more, 22, 25?
Something like that.
Okay, so like thereabouts number of years of experience in the marketing industry as a journalist, as an editor. So Matt has been with the likes of Ad News Australia, Tab Media in Hong Kong,
Yes.
South China Morning Post, Media Outrage Newswire, and most, if not more importantly, Lighthouse
Correct.
Independent Media,
Yes.
where he's been the editor over the course of, I think, around 8 years.
Yeah, around 8 years.
Yeah, where he oversaw the Hong Kong and Asia magazines.
Yes. Back when we had magazines.
Yeah, back when we had it. So let's get cracking on the conversation.
Great. Can't wait.
Tell us a bit about yourself. I think that's the most fun part here because so we've had like people from Singapore, people from Malaysia on the show.
Yeah.
But Australia.
Not yet. Am I the first?
Yeah, you're the first.
Right. Well, thank you. I'm now back in Sydney after almost 14 years of living in Hong Kong.
Wow.
With a little bit of Singapore in between and very little bit of Malaysia. About 4 months actually.
Yes, I did hear some stories about that.
But always kind of got drawn back to Hong Kong for work. And so what took me there originally was Marketing Magazine. I was, like you said, working on Ad News in Sydney, and then got kind of headhunted, I guess, through our old boss, Justin Randalls. And on a bit of a whim, it was only a couple of weeks, I left Ad News and pretty much packed up my house and left for Hong Kong. Didn't really know much about it.
How did he sell it to you? It's like, hey, do you want to move to Hong Kong?
I think it was a tax break originally. That was the selling point. It was but I don't know. I was kind of up for an adventure, and I was still pretty young in my journalism career, and it seemed like a good idea at the time. And it was to launch a brand new product in Hong Kong, and we just came and did it, and we ended up, I don't know, it's like...
It's a really good run, though. I've heard so much great stories about
Yeah, well, it was pretty different back then. I mean, Hong Kong, the media industry there for trade press was really only Media magazine at the time, which is now Campaign Asia. And so we came in and kind of a bit of a disruptor. It was quite an aggressive launch into Hong Kong, and we just went for gold from day one. And, I lived in a tiny little shoebox apartment just near the office.
Oh.
And, it's like 1 year turned into 2, turned into
just
4. And we just kept going.
Out,
Yeah. So back then it was really just the magazine. Like, we didn't have a newsletter, a daily one at least, until probably about, I don't know, almost a year later. And so, it was really just driven by the magazine back then. It was very different. We didn't have the awards program that we now have. And so, it was like a very different way of working, but insanely fun.
You've been there from like kind of day one, the birth of the regional expansion of Marketing
for sure.
Interactive.
I mean, Singapore had been around for a little while and quite established and was successful. And so I think the success in Singapore had allowed us to expand into Hong Kong and then just keep going. And look at it today. It's a really huge network. And I've been back now it's been like 7 months now. And it's just amazing to see how it's all just exploded so much. And so I guess with Australia, we're really trying to be that bridge between, what's going on in Australia and how that relationship fits into the rest of the APAC region. And so it's a bit of it's early days yet, and it's a bit of a different offering for the Australian market. And so, I think that will kind of be our point of difference as we go ahead and figure our way through this market.
Yeah, we do want to kind of touch on that. So it's really exciting because you guys did a really big launch
Yeah.
in Australia recently.
You know, it was really just like a social mixer, and you know, a lot of friends who we've done business with in Hong Kong and in Singapore, and you know, it's really interesting to see how many people from Hong Kong are working across into Australia now. I mean,
Right, cross
so
borders.
yeah, so there's a bit of a relationship there already, and it was fantastic. We had almost 100 people come the launch, and we picked a really nice place in the heart of
Looks so
Sydney.
good. I saw the photos.
Yeah, it was really fun. And so it was really encouraging for us to have that support from the industry as well, because, you know, Australia is pretty well catered to when it comes to the trade press market. You know, it's a really interesting market. The news cycle is amazing. Like,
Yes.
it's really
I did
busy.
want to know, like, what is it like in Australia? Because you've
Yeah,
worked in all these other markets, Singapore, Malaysia,
Yeah.
you've got Hong Kong, and now back to Australia. How's the marketing scene like there? What's it looking like for you right now?
It's busy.
Busy.
It's really busy, but busy in quite a positive way. And so sometimes the challenge is trying to keep up with all the news.
Yes. Okay.
And so it's that kind of busy, right? And so every day, you know, there's so much to report on. And I mean, the big challenge is just to make sure that you're doing it justice, I guess, because there's speed, like how the Aussie media work is it's a really cracking pace. And so, you know, we've kind of come in and just trying to bring a bit of a different perspective. And so, you know, for us, I think some of the stories that are really working are these sort of big, deep connections with CMOs and how that role is changing and evolving with all these new tech products that are coming through. How, you know, customer experience is changing with AI, which is what we talked about at DMA,
Yes.
like for 2 days straight, right?
Cool
So,
topics.
yeah, so I mean, Australia's been really good, and it's just like insanely busy. Every day you have some stuff to deal with, and so there's never really, like, 6 months has just absolutely flown by.
So we do actually scroll through the Australia
Yeah.
page
Yeah.
quite often,
Yeah.
and we do see quite some like fun stories.
Yeah.
We've got people movements, appointments, campaigns. And
Yeah, there's a
it's
lot, yeah.
so many different
Yeah.
things to cover. But what has been a story so far that you've done in the past 6-7 months that stood out to you, that was like really interesting, that caught your eye and attention?
It depends which end of the spectrum. There was one in particular which was absolutely hilarious, was where a adults only influencer, maybe. I think her name's Bikini Tradie, but she superimposed herself on a roaming billboard. It was all fake, right? There was an actual real
Like the
like
actual
a-
truck.
The actual truck was driving through some suburbs around
So it's like
Sydney.
a FOOH thing.
Yeah, it's like a mobile out
Okay.
of home truck, and there was a real campaign on it, and she had somehow seen this and put her photo on this truck, calling out for a sugar daddy. She wanted to marry a rich guy. She wanted to see his bank balance, and there was like these certain preconditions. And anyway, she posted it on social media, and it just went crazy, and everyone kind of fell for this story, and there was outrage because she was in these very affluent suburbs of
It's
Sydney.
like, how did this get approved?
How did it get approved?
Who let this truck drive around with this?
Yeah. So I called the mobile out of home company, and they just said it's completely untrue. There was no receipts to show that she bought any billboards, but she was all over media. She was on breakfast radio saying she'd
Wow.
had thousands and thousands of people send their bank balance, and then she
so it actually worked.
it actually worked.
Oh my gosh.
And then she expanded her campaign to other affluent suburbs around Sydney. Yeah, but it was all a hoax. So that was quite good.
so many creative
Very
turns
creative.
right there in one story. Yeah, it's just
But I guess on the more serious side of it,
sure.
the things that are interesting have been how that there's this kind of real legacy trend going on in Australia at the moment, where people are kind of leaning into heritage.
Okay.
Things like you know, brands like Smith's and
yes.
PepsiCo and Mountain Dew are doing this work where, you know, they're bringing out characters from the 80s and the 90s. Like there's one in particular that Smith's chips used to have called the Gobbledy
Gobbledygook, something like that.
So
okay.
they've brought him, her back to life.
Okay.
but on social media. And so there's been this kind of trend of like farm talk where people look at authentic sort of farming experiences on TikTok. And so Smiths have kind of picked up on this trend and sort of rebirthed this idea into social, and it's just like gone absolutely crazy. And so there's this kind of like nostalgia trends going on, where they're bringing back characters from
People's past, like
from people's
childhood.
past, and from an advertising point of view, some really old campaigns that like Australia had some amazing campaigns back in the 80s, like Forex and Foster's and Tourism Australia,
I wouldn't know.
those types of things. They're all coming back to life in social media
So
and
cool.
finding a whole new audience. It's really cool. So at the moment, we're in upfront season in Australia, and so all of the big networks like Channel 9 and Foxtel, some of the tech partners as well, like YouTube have done it, Amazon, Disney, and ESPN, is where it's a big showcase for the coming year. Some of their new ad products and some of the new programming that's coming down the pipeline. I've been trying to get along to as many of these events as possible, and the scary thing is how young the media buyers are now. And there's this whole new generation coming through the advertising industry. And
Why
so
is it scary?
because I've been away from the industry for a little while.
Oh, okay. So
And
it's like kind of been a generation
yeah,
change.
yeah. And so,
Okay.
it's been really interesting to kind of get my head around how all that is working as well.
So you've also been hosting quite a few panels. I
Yeah.
think recently we just concluded digital marketing,
Yeah.
Asia DMA in
Yeah.
Singapore, and you've also done content 360. How's that experience been like for you? So you got to do the writing, you've
Yeah.
got to do the editing, and then you've got conferences.
Yeah,
panelists.
and then still have my Australian
Yeah.
site to keep running as well. It's honestly like the weeks when we come to Singapore now are so packed, and but it's really good. It's like how the conferences run now and how the editorial are working together. It's like a very well-oiled machine, and so the speed of how you guys do everything now, like how the newsletters work in sync with the events, how the podcasts work in sync with the articles. It's a really different experience, and I think it's like added this really kind of this point where B2B publications like us are finding this sweet spot where events are, the content from events.
It's all in synergy. Everything
right,
is
that's
like
right.
together.
And I mean, it's no easy feat to get to that point. And, to see how you guys work behind the scenes and that all the social videos, the podcasts, especially, the speakers, they're all really know marketing interactive, and they know, and so they've become part of the editorial story, and their relationship with the team, expands into the podcasts and expands into the live events. And so it's this whole experience now. That's kind of how I think, we'll do it in Australia as well, to have that whole sort of ecosystem
Yes.
synced up, because when you do, that's like the true power of B2B media.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, it's that's B2B marketing now, and the brands that I think we see up on stage, and in the exhibition areas, it's important that they're all part of that system as well. So, yeah, that's been cool to see all that in action.
Right. So I think maybe going back to Australia, not back, but maybe down.
Yeah,
Going down.
down.
Going back to Australia. What can we kind of expect from there? Because currently you're a one-man show.
Yeah, yeah.
You're doing everything. You're running back
Yeah.
and forth here as well. But I feel like there's something brewing and coming from Australia. What can we expect?
Yeah, well, I think next year will be a big year for us, and it's been probably around 6 months of like I have never drank so much coffee in my life. So it's just really like building connections at the moment.
Okay, so
And-
not coffee to keep you alive and awake, but coffee meetings.
Coffee meetings.
Okay.
I'm just like say yes to everything,
Yeah.
pretty much. So that means like a lot of coffee.
It's okay. Australia has good coffee.
Australia does
Yeah.
have good coffee. And so I think for the year ahead, it's syncing up with what we're doing in this part of the world and seeing how that relates to Australia. And the most surprising sort of thing has been, what people are clicking on the newsletter. It's not always Australian news. It's the big trends that are coming out of Indonesia and Hong Kong and Singapore, the Philippines and Thailand. That stuff traffics really well. And so
Everyone's thinking regional, like they're looking
I mean,
across their border now.
there was always this kind of debate whether Australia was, like a little bit parochial and not interested in markets beyond their borders. But I don't know. This is my personal take, just from being back and working, across these markets, like you said, running back and forth. There is a real appetite for this stuff, and there's things happening in Australia which relate to the China market with things like the Little Red Book.
Yes.
That's big in Sydney. There's a lot of
Oh, it's big in Sydney.
yeah,
Oh,
and,
that's interesting.
and so there's trends, like there's opportunities around for us to bring in our expertise from other markets that we work in, and kind of help companies who are interested to look beyond Australia, and find out what does e-commerce look like in Singapore, and what payment systems should you be using, and what does marketing look like, and what channels should you be involved with. So I think we have an opportunity to kind of work with CMOs and work with brands and companies who are interested in this cross-border commerce plays. What works in Southeast Asia might not always work in Australia, but there's probably lessons along there somewhere that we can draw from that. And so, we have quite, I think, a unique opportunity to look at how we can serve the Australian market a little bit different to what's already there.
And also, Marketing Interactive's strength is that it's regional, and we've got all
100%.
our specific markets. We've got Philippines, Indonesia, Hong Kong.
Yeah.
We've got Thailand. We've got Malaysia, Singapore, Australia.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and like everyone in each of these markets are specialized to tap into what clicks with the country, the people, the audience, the readers. So there's a real strength there, and I feel like it would be so cool to see how Marketing Interactive Australia leans into that as well.
Yeah, and I think the strength of what we do has always been to have boots on the ground in the markets where we operate. And so hiring good journos in each market and building insights and connections to the market, that has been the strength always. And so, it's like, it's like what Budi is doing in Indonesia, and the stuff that he's doing in the Philippines.
But he's doing so much cool
so
stories
good.
there.
It's so
Love
good.
reading.
And the connections that you guys have in Malaysia and Singapore, these have been built over years of having good journos, offering strong breaking news and building these connections. And so I think that's kind of going to be the important thing in Australia, is having a presence there and making sure that we're talking to the market pretty much every day. So
that kind of means that you find that synergy. There is a synergy between Australia and also the rest of the APAC and Southeast Asia countries.
Yeah, and it's been really interesting, like meeting people in the market who are based out of Australia with Asia Pacific responsibilities.
Okay.
And I think that's sort of a thing that's starting to happen more and more. So Australia's relationship with the rest of the region has always been critical. We're so close to Indonesia geographically. We do a lot of business. There's a lot of push from the Australian government at the moment to build economic ties with Indonesia. And so, that works all the way up through Southeast Asia.
So what's been one surprising thing for you when you attempted at cracking in the Australian market?
I thought it was going to be really tough to get news, like start sort of digging out stuff. That was my biggest worry.
Because you have to kind of start from scratch.
Starting from scratch again. And, I know that what that looks like. I've done it a few times in my career. But we kind of hit the ground, like, I won't say running, but
Jogging.
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 That's right.
Skipping.
That's a nice way to put it. We like that entry into the market, we got a lot of help from a lot of people. And so, it wasn't, I was kind of, there was a bit of fear there.
Oh, yes.
I don't know, we've just had such amazing help. We've built dedicated EDMs for Australia, and it's a different style of newsletter. It's a little bit more conversational. And, we're trying to roll in other parts of trending news out of Asia into the product down there. And so, it's a little bit different, kind of trying something a little bit new. But I think that's the beauty of the Australian market, is that we can be a bit of a test case for trying out some different stuff. And so, that's been also quite a
Nice
cool thing.
playground there.
Bit of a playground.
Yeah. Get to try all the fun new stuff there.
Yeah.
So I think it would be great to be able to round off the conversation with something a bit more about yourself. So you've been in the industry for so long. You've been doing journalism for so long. What actually got you started in it, and what's keeping you in it?
Well, I had wanted to do it for quite a long time. I started off by doing fish farming and horticulture.
This is new.
Did you? I just to throw a curveball at you.
Whoa.
Didn't see that coming.
Horticulture?
My first degree at university was fish farming, and that was I was going to do that originally.
Was there a big industry for fish farming?
Yeah,
in
so
Australia at the time?
I could either study it in. So I was living in Tasmania. You could do it in Launceston, up in northern Tasmania.
I didn't know they do fish farming there.
Yeah, they do. It's not a great industry at the
Okay,
moment. It's quite it's in the news for the wrong reasons.
Right.
So there's either Launceston or North Queensland, right at the bottom of the Great Barrier Reef.
So you saw these fish farms and you're like, I want to go. I want to
No,
do that. Or-
no, it was more of the horticulture aspect of it as
Okay.
well. So I did a half. I did a bit of aquaculture and a bit of horticulture, and ended up in North Queensland. And as soon as I got to North Queensland, started doing a radio show on community radio,
That's how people usually get into it.
and
don't they?
became editor of the student newspaper.
Oh.
And I failed every
You bit
science
the
course.
bug. You bit the bug.
And from there, we launched a newspaper in Rockhampton during a big military exercise called Exercise Crocodile. I finished university with a journalism degree.
Oh.
And
So you made like a switch in between. Or
oh yeah, it was a complete bait and switch right in my first year.
you dropped bait and switch, but actually you dropped the fish bait.
I dropped the fish bait.
And then you picked up another.
That's right.
Picked up journalism.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I had to basically bribe my way back into university because every course that I had initially signed up to, I didn't really give it that much attention. And I spent all my time on radio and newspaper.
You loved it that much.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
So I failed biology, I failed science.
But you excelled at radio.
I did. I had a great face for radio. And then, I ended up getting a cadetship in Sydney, and here we are.
Here we are. Wow. That was not the journey I was expecting. This is the first time I've heard someone say they started with fish farming and ended up in
Trade publishing.
Yeah, trade publishing, marketing, and journalism. Okay. So from your perspective then, what's something you're noticing in the marketing scene that you foresee happening in the future? What's the evolution looking like from your so-called crystal ball?
Yeah.
Not that we actually can see the future, but
No.
from your reporting and everything you've chat with industry experts and people.
Honestly, it feels like you don't really need a crystal ball sometimes because things are moving so fast, right? And so you make a prediction and then it just seems to happen. and I think that's probably because of things like how AI is evolving at the moment, how it's becoming such a part of this industry in such a really quick time. But I think, what's going to happen with that is that how companies integrate it into their workflows and into their culture, and being able to use it in a way that helps rather than, sees teams shrink and, supercharging everything that we do already. I think, at the moment, that seems like it's the real opportunity, and challenge at the same time. And so working inside this in real time and trying to be part of where it's all going, I think, that's a pretty exciting thing to be part of at the moment. And so I think for CMOs, everything that they do from programmatic to, reimagining the customer journey and using these new tech stacks to supercharge it and to personalize everything.
So much opportunity.
So much
Yeah.
opportunity.
So before we let you off back to Australia on your flight, when can we see you again?
You know, I think the better question would be, when can we see you in Australia? So you have to have a talk to Rez and Eve.
Yeah,
and,
I should.
and we need to do some stuff in Australia.
Go do some stuff
Let's do
there.
some stuff in
I love
Australia.
the weather in Australia. When it's not too hot.
It's getting hot.
I don't like the
early.
spiders though.
Spiders,
Yeah, no
Snakes?
spiders, no snakes. No
brush
bedbugs.
turkeys,
What are brush turkeys?
these gigantic turkeys that roam around
What do
in
they
wild
do?
packs.
What did he do?
Oh, they just forage and make a mess, and they smell quite bad.
Okay, but they don't attack you, right?
No, they don't attack.
That's fine.
Um,
You made it sound so like intimidating. But yes, maybe we will see you back down in Australia. Who
I
knows?
think very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully.
If not here, then in
If
Sydney.
not here, yes. Always some cross-country situation
I love
happening.
it.
Thank you so much, Matt, for joining me here in the studio today.
Well-
in Singapore.
Thank you so much, and I love the podcast, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully we'll have even more episodes coming out in the next week and months to come.
I can't wait.
And for the rest of you guys, you can check out more In Conversation episodes on Spotify, YouTube, or on any of your favorite podcast platforms. Be sure to follow us on all of Marketing Interactive's social pages such as LinkedIn, Facebook, Telegram, and Instagram. Thank you once again for tuning in to Marketing Connected, brought to you by Marketing Interactive. Bye everyone!
Bye.